Hey guys, well, one of the biggest questions I got from last year's mock bug out was how do you make your own freeze-dried meals? I'll put up, it's called like the pre-mock bug out day one or something like that. It was the day I was driving out and we were going to basically ditch the truck, and I went over a lot of things that were in my pack, including the food that I was carrying. In that video I mentioned that I made my own freeze-dried meals. So a lot of people were wondering, well, how do you make your own freeze-dried? And it's not like I have a freeze-dried machine, but as we've been kind of going over the last couple days, you know, I use the Thrive product, and all the Thrive stuff is, you know, by ingredients. We'll go over some of their already created meals, but I do believe they've changed. But anyway, I'll add that at the end. So, you know, why do this? Well, these two that I happen to have that were extras that I didn't eat from last year, and this is kind of what I want to show some of you guys, is this is just a simple Ziploc bag. There's no, you know, oxygen absorber, there's no moisture absorber in here, and all of this stuff is still bone dry. So you can easily store this in a Ziploc bag for over a year, you know, without an issue of having to use some sort of a specialty bag or vacuum seal or anything like that. Regular old Ziploc, and it's been, well, not quite a year, almost a year. Last year's bug out, I think, was in January, and it is December. So, you know, in here I have celery, I have peppers, I have corn, I have roast beef, and what I wanted to show you, if I can compare over here, you know, this Mountain House meal over here, I know a lot of people don't like sort of the sodium content in it, especially in a survival situation and not maybe a pack situation. You know, but for a bug out, these would certainly work. These are about $6 to $8 a piece. And I figured out with just kind of the ingredients I got in front of you here, and maybe I'll do a little write-up and stick down below. But you know, almost about a 2-cup bag of my Thrive stuff put together, even using the most expensive, like diced tomatoes, using the most expensive turkey. As far as comparison costs, certainly I could leave the tomatoes out and go to maybe a chicken or something would be a little bit cheaper with the turkey. Even with that, about 1 3/4 cups, almost 2 cups worth of food was like $3.90 or 80 cents or something like that. Definitely over half of what the Mountain House is. Now again, you know, this has got a good shelf life. It's vacuum sealed. It's, you know, ready to go. But a lot of people don't like that kind of stuff. So, you know, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 1/4 cup measuring cup, simply because it makes it easier for me to do the price comparison down below. Normally I don't really measure this per se, but we're going to take a 1/4 cup of turkey dices. Let's do a 1/4 cup of corn. We're going to do a 1/4 cup of sweet potatoes, 1/4 cup peppers, onions. This is the green chili, tomatoes. I'm going to push the air out. And this is all the vegetables and meat, proteins, vegetables. What I did last year that worked out pretty good, that I don't know if I'll do this year, is I just added just a powdered gravy mix. You can add all your seasonings that you want. If you don't want, you know, high salt, if you want low salt, whatever it may be, you know, go ahead and sprinkle in a little bit of gravy mix. It's got a little added beef flavor, even though this is turkey, and a little bit of thickener. So when you add your water in there, it'll become kind of like a thick soup. It's got some cornstarch and stuff in there. And again, the reason I like doing this is it's just create your own meal. You know, go ahead and take a Sharpie and put on here, you know, add water. This is the turkey meal, and you can make whatever you want. You know, I'm not going to go to all the possibilities because they're almost endless. With the Thrive stuff, and when you're doing it per ingredient, you know, if you don't like tomatoes, don't put tomatoes in there. I'm doing sweet potatoes, but you don't have to. And, you know, this isn't going to be a very long video, but there you go. That's how I made my bug out Thrive meals of my own freeze-dried for way less than you can go out and buy a bunch of Mountain House. And certainly, I can't stand the Wise stuff. I've tried a bunch of them. I can't stand them. And they don't use, real meat in any of their dishes that I could find, where I'm using actual freeze-dried turkey. This is not a texture vegetable protein product. This is actual turkey. The ones in here are actually roast beef. And so that's it. We'll go on to breakfast, and then we'll take a look at their what they call express meals, kind of their already put together meals that I did take a few of them last year. So thanks for watching. We'll go to breakfast. Well, on to bug out breakfast, basically. Last year, and a lot of times in my kits, I'll put a little bit of the instant oatmeal. It's quick and easy if you use Crockett's tip and you put the hot water right in the sachets. It's quick cleanup. It is a paper type material. You can easily throw that in the fire and not have to carry the trash around with you. What I'm going to be trying this year is going with, again, more Thrive stuff, but that's kind of what this video is about. The 9-grain cracked cereal. And it's basically kind of a hearty grain. Get some close up in there. And it is something that you're going to have to kind of cook, like a traditional grain type or a steel cut oat. These heartier oats are going to give you more energy and just more bang for your buck than just kind of filling you up. And the ingredients here is hard red wheat, hard white wheat, barley, rye, oats, corn, millet, whole buckwheat, and flaxseed. And again, this is something that you're going to have to kind of cook. I'm probably going to get some powdered milk and add with this. But what we're going to do is just fill this up with this cereal stuff. And I'm going to use, let's start with about a 1/3 cup. And then what I've got over here are just different Thrive berries. And these are some Panther cans. And I'm just going to put in couple raspberries, and get my big mitts in here, a couple blueberries, a couple blackberries. If you guys want to know what these look like, I mean, they look like blackberries because they are blackberries. They have just been frozen and all the water removed. Another really nice product, super bright on the palate, is Mandarin Oranges. This is something that if you guys have never had, a Mandarin orange has been freeze-dried. This thing will focus. Take a look at that. It is the most amazing thing when you bite into that. So we're going to add one of those for your brightness. I'm going to probably put some powdered milk in here as well. And that will be some of my breakfast. And we're going to do some testing on this. So stay tuned to those videos. But this is what I'm going to do for a bunch of the bug out breakfasts. Kind of continuing on a little bit, there are some, as I mentioned, pre-made meals where most of the reason I prefer the Thrive, as we just talked about, is the individual ingredients. They do have multiple flavors of different kinds of things, and they're always changing them. So the ones in front of you are, let's see, I opened this can in April of 11, so this is over a year old. The bags you saw, just like as before, I put together last year, and they are still dehydrated, freeze-dried, whatever the mix is in here. They're not vacuum sealed. They're just in a ziplock bag, and like with the other ones you saw, there's really nothing wrong with these. So you don't have to worry about too much, at least a year at a time, by just putting this in there. Now I also have, this is 2 cups. There's 2 cups of water to 1 cup of mix. This is the barbecue chicken. One thing I've noticed, especially with these pre-flavored versions from the Thrive, are the seasonings are a little bit overwhelming. So whereas they give you enough seasoning per like 2 cups, there's like 1 bag of seasoning per cup or whatever is in here for so many meals. This is 12 servings in this can. I use just 1 bag of the seasoning. As you can see in here, there's just 1 bag for 2 cups. So I will split this up and do, like on here, it's 2 cups of water to 1 cup of the mix, and then I'll use half of that seasoning packet. Otherwise, that barbecue is just too much. The curry is just too much. I think they did get complaints on some of them a little while ago because, like I said, I think the flavors are going to be different now, simply because they've changed the recipe. But they do have some pre-done meals if you're not interested in creating your own like we just did. There's also smaller pouches called the Express, basically kind of a per meal already in a pouch, so you don't have to do this and put it in a Ziploc. So it's something to look into.